Hey everyone, it's time to take a look at the LEGO Marvel Avengers Iron Man Armory set. And I can tell you right out the gate, right off the bat, I really like the idea of a cheaper add-on or expansion to the previous Hall of Armor set that they did, which itself was very nice. The question is, did they get the execution right here? And did they get the price right? Also in this video, I'm going to give you a little bonus review of the latest Marvel minifigure pack. And here's another thing, I'm going to try something a little different in how I film this review. So this is everything that comes with the set. You get Tony Stark there, you get a couple of his suits, you get his hot rod, 4 bays for the Hall of Armor back here, and some little side builds as well as 2 more of those generic AIM agents, which are based on the upcoming game version. These individual armor vaults or cells or capsules, what do you call those? Bays, I guess, are built exactly the same as the ones in the Hall of Armor set. So it's completely compatible and you can change the shape of this. You can bend things in if you want. You can bend things out. Look at that. It gives you a completely different look, which is actually very, very cool. Starts to make it roughly round, almost a half circle on the inside. And when you look at it from this side, that is cool as well. Now, each of those bays has a window on the back, which is adorned with a sticker, a clear backed sticker, and it's a little bit difficult to fully see the details there, but this one is a prime armor one, which goes with one of the armors included in the set here. This one's for the Mark II prototype. That's this one right here. Again, it's a little bit difficult to see, but there you go. War Machine, that's the proto War Machine that they did also in this series. And finally over here, this is Blazer. So they did Blazer in a different set. That was in the Avengers Tower set, the most recent one that they came up with. And these are backwards because they're intended to be seen from this side, but you can't really see all the good stuff when you look at the stuff from this side. When you look through here, you can see, just the outline, then you don't see all the writing or anything. So the way that works out is not ideal, but you can just switch these windows around if you want. And again, those are clear back stickers. It is difficult to get those right. And with the newer material, I have to tell you, the newer type of material that they're using for clear or transparent plastics these days, it's more important than ever that you get it right the first time. If you have to lift off one of those stickers, you're gonna cause a little bit of damage to it. Unfortunately, it's very, very difficult to avoid that. I like this over here, the little 3D printing station, which does include that. Let's see how close we can get this. We can get it to focus. Yes, there we go. It does include the little Iron Man figurine. You can call it an action figure. It's just so cool. They actually have 2 of those in the set in total. One of them is a spare since it's such a small piece. And that's a separate machine that you can pull off. And you also get the cell phone there, and then just an extra little bay of accessories here. So these things can be stacked vertically. They can be swapped one side to side. And then right in here, this is, again, going to be a little bit difficult to see, but if I pull this up, how can I get that to be properly viewable? It's rough, right? A little bit tough to see, but you see that Tony Stark likes his cheeseburgers with extra cheese. It's indicated up at the top there, and then also some schematic information about his hot rod and possibly some upcoming upgrades. There's also this side build for Tony's toys there. Again, sticker, and clear backed sticker means, again, if it's not just right, then it's gonna be pretty wrong. I'm not liking what LEGO's doing with the clear backed stickers these days. They really need to increase the quality of the die cuts. They're just not cutting them deep enough. And you can see some of the results of that. Some of the adhesive gets left behind on the sticker sheet. I was trying to be pretty careful with it. This is a cool sticker right here. It represents a head gasket for one bank of cylinders for the hot rod. And this is, of course, just a cheeseburger. Pretty straightforward build. Comes with no suggestion of tomato. Usually LEGO likes to include some suggestion of tomato. They didn't do that this time, and that makes this special and exclusive. I'm kidding, of course. Oh, by the way, nothing inside. The hot rod looks pretty good to me. Looks a little bit classic. As far as Lego styling goes, it's not too fancy. It does use some newer parts up towards the front of it, but I like this. I like it a lot. I can take or leave the stud shooters used for the exhaust collectors, header outlets there on the sides. The idea is that you'd be able to shoot fire from the exhaust. Again, kind of take it or leave it. Got the flatheads here. Unfortunately, they didn't include the parts in this set to give you a supercharger to add on to it, but I just think the whole thing looks pretty good. This is a sticker applied on the side, a sticker applied on the back. It's kind of rare for Lego to do something that doesn't have a connection or reference to the set number and or the set designer for a license plate like that. But yeah, it just holds a single person in there. It only uses 2 studs, so you don't have to worry about legs accidentally getting left behind. And just overall, I think the thing looks pretty good. Just if I did anything to it to customize it, it would be with a focus down in this area right here along the side of the engine, and probably changing out those exhaust pieces. Just it's just a little much. Before we start looking at the figures up close, I just wanted to point out that you do get this base, this stand, just a little 3-stud wide dish piece to hold up the prime armor with all of its, what are these called, lightning focuser segments with the thrusters on the back and all that. So I'm not going to show that base when we get up closer, but this is how it looks all together. Allows you to have this standing up without worrying about leaning it forward to make sure that it doesn't fall over on its own. So that's a nice inclusion. So here we are up close with the workshop version of Tony Stark on the left. His little bit of skin tone showing through on that torso print is not as skin-ish as it ought to be. It's just not quite as opaque as it needs to be. So it's looking a little bit pale, a little bit thin there, but the rest of the printing looks very nice. I like all the folds and creases in the shirt there. Prime armor in the center is mostly inspired by the MCU version. And they've gone to, I should say, the single piece helmet. Looks like they've really committed to that. I personally would have liked to see a comic version of Prime armor instead. Probably could have been done a little bit better with this style of helmet, but Lego has committed for the Avengers line, in the past at least, to supporting the MCU, because so many products were made specifically for the MCU. It's so fresh in people's minds and everything, even though this set here is part of a series that is starting to move into the video game based stuff. But I'm personally happy with this as a person who's not a super Marvel fan. It's fine to me. I don't feel offended by this, but I can understand if anybody out there, really would like to see something else, would like to see like a comic focus instead. On the right is the Mark II prototype armor. I believe it's the first time we've gotten that one officially from Lego. I think that looks much better with the newer style of helmet, and I really appreciate the use of bright silver metallic print on top of the silver plastic pieces. And it does get the prints down into the hip and leg pieces, of course. Nothing on the sides, unfortunately. That's too bad. Really nice print on the back of that torso. Need to take some pieces off here. And that's a pretty nice print on the back of the torso for the middle one as well. Again, MCU for Tony Stark for the head. They're using the exact same one that they have up to this point, with the alternate print representing what it looks like with the overlay, or rather, it's basically the overlay, like looking through his heads-up display inside the helmet. Kind of an interesting look, but I've warmed to that. Doesn't really work though with the new helmets, though, right? Kind of lost its purpose, but at least we still have that same common face, which I think is perfectly fine. And if the other one's not useful anymore, so be it. Eventually they'll come up with something new, but for now this works. And here are the 2 generic aim agents that just look the same as all of them. They didn't even give them any fancy accessories in this set, any fancy weapons. Pretty straightforward stuff. The old agent's gun with just a single hollow stud placed over it. In the latest gameplay footage or something that I saw that's official footage, it made it look like these aim agents are actually supposed to be like robots or something, right? At least I think that's what I saw. Makes more sense for them to all look the same then. But I know a lot of people are getting tired, or have actually for a while been tired, of these same AIM agents being included in set after set in LEGO's Marvel series lately. And I can completely understand that. However, imagine if this was Star Wars and these were stormtroopers, or for the modern fans, clone troopers. Nobody would be complaining then. That's what these are intended to be. They're just generic, same looking, at least externally, just cannon fodder, just general foot soldiers, general bad guys that are super, super massable. So really it makes sense for them to include plenty of these. And I think for people that eventually get into the game, it'll make a little bit more sense still, and it'll start to be appreciated a bit more. If it's not though, oh well, they're still just generic bad guys, shoot them or something. There are the leftover pieces, including some extra minifig accessory parts and extra studs for the stud shooters, as well as the nanofig Iron Man, which is cool. So good to get an extra one of those. I think that a lot of people will appreciate having the extra, or having that print made at all. And then the sticker sheet for this set is really, really big. I mean, for the size of the set, that's a lot. Again, it's all clear backed, and do be careful. If you hate stickers, something like this is really gonna raise anxiety and might trigger some PTSD if you've had bad experiences in the past. Real quick, here's how the set looks with the 2 included suits, and they have a little kind of hanger, sort of, off to the side to hold on to this extra stuff. The other option is to turn the figures around so that you can see them through the outlines, and they line up pretty well, right? That works. You just do need to swap these window pieces at least around, if not the door frames with them, so that the text is not backwards the way that it is right now. Lastly, here's the existing Hall of Armor set. I've got one that's just built up fresh here with none of the stickers applied to it, but it's the original build. And if you want to integrate the new set with it, it's as simple as choosing. I mean, do you want to put all these things together, or do you want to just add to the sides? I think it's easiest, or looks best at least, to just add to the sides. So we'll just do that. And I'm not even lining things up properly. Like, you can actually put them into their numerical order and everything. Just pull these off for the time being. And starts to surround something like that. Yeah, I mean, this part hangs off a little bit. I'll just turn that out like so. And that works. Works actually pretty nicely. Let's go ahead and try the different options. So if I go around this way, this is actually interesting because it's going to connect all the way. There's the one little bar that was used to hang this. So I'll just pull that off temporarily. I'll go ahead and connect these together. Then I will take out that little workshop, little workspace table right there to bring things together even further. I just wanted you to see how this looks. I mean, this is nice. This is really nice. It's different, Go ahead and pull that out. Connect these together directly, like so. It becomes a continuous walkway all the way around. And of course, you can add more to this. You're not limited to just putting these 2 sets together. You can buy more of the Hall of Armor set, the original one. You can buy more of the new set. Do what you want. All those spaces can be used. Some of them just have the little temporary stand-ins for different armor pieces. But this is pretty good stuff. And then I'll, let's see. Where did that end? Is this the right one? I think this is the right one here. Should be up. You stay. Take 4 pieces off, I believe. Will get me, let me just check this real quick. Prime, War Machine, Prototype. Yep, that's it. So another option would be to just add these in line. Like so. Stick this at the end. I think there was one other build also that came with the Hall of Armor. So just, all that stuff can just be lined up real quick. Got a couple hairs in there, sorry about that. But like so. Just another way to do it. And of course, these can also be stacked vertically. So, for example, one last thing. If I take this off here again, I think I'll just scooch this over to the end for now. Just gonna knock the railings off from some of these to make it a lot easier to stack them directly vertical. Otherwise, you're only able to do them straight. So it might not make sense to put this one up top, but you get the general idea. So these things can be stacked infinitely vertically, and then you still get to do this, which is a cool look. You still get to look at it like this, which is also a cool look. And you can still do like this, potentially, which inside of there is a pretty cool look. I'll just open that up. Whoop. One of these extra parts, stand-ins, but right in there. It's a pretty cool look, and would look even better if I had the stickers on these down below. And finally, here's the promised bonus little mini review, I guess, to throw into this video. It's the Falcon and Black Widow team-up set. Just one of those minifig, formerly accessory packs. Just comes with the 4 figures here. Sells for $15 US. And we'll take a closer look at the minifigures. Obviously, 2 of them are just those same agents, AIM agents, again, like the exact same ones. So there's really nothing else to see there. We've already seen them. I'm not going to show those up close again. But before we show the proper minifigs, the good ones up close, just wanted to point this out. The mini build on the side, it's just a 6-stud shooter, which for the first time is exclusively shooting 1x1 cylinders. I don't think they've used just that type of ammunition for this before. I prefer those to the studs because these are a little bit more difficult to lose. But this is a pretty straightforward thing, but it's useful, you know, and you can angle it up so you can actually fire at, oh, I don't know, a winged good guy, because obviously this is an AIM agent thing. So here is said winged good guy. It's Falcon with the full wings that are actually built up. Not a single piece, not a preformed piece, and this allows you to change the angles of them if you like. So you can bring them down, you can rotate them, you can bring them straight back like that if you want. I could do it like this instead. You know, just the usual stuff that you'd expect from what you see there. Moved his neck up just a little bit. I believe this is a 100% exclusive figure as well. The print, to me, actually looks pretty good. I'm not mad at it. Dual molded legs as well. Gold color for the hands, for his gloves. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. And I appreciate the actual use of building techniques instead of a preformed piece for the wings. And the fact that, you know, those can articulate is nice as well. Let me take a couple pieces off. All right, so now we can see the print on the back of the torso, as well as his alternate face. Good printing work there on the torso and on the faces, I think. The goggles are done pretty nicely. I like the amount of depth that's suggested there. And while the white printing or the outline for the goggles is not as opaque as I'd like it to be, at least the red part is looking pretty good. And just the relative opacities and values of the prints there, I think are pretty good. This could have used some printing on the hips instead of putting the belt into the torso, but I think I'm okay with this. Then here's Natasha Romanov with the printing on the arms. Very good to see there. A very, very matte print for the gray for the shoulders. A very shiny print for the gold, for the bracers. Or, I mean, is that even actually a separate part, or is that just part of the uniform itself, part of the sleeves? Apologies for not knowing the answer to that, but look at this one. This one is printed all the way through into the hips and down to the legs. That makes this a little bit nicer. And then with the printing on the arms as well, that's a little extra deluxe underneath there. Alternate face, print on the back of the torso definitely matches the level of detail of what's on the front. And because of the way that this figure gets set up, you're able to appreciate that detail more frequently because it's not by default covered up by other stuff. This set also comes with extra cylinders for the stud shooter, or rather cylinder shooter, I guess, as well as 4 other small spare pieces. Getting back to our main topic, to summarize though, this set here goes for $30 US for 258 pieces with 5 minifigures plus a printed nano fig. I think that price is perfectly fair. I'm looking at it for what I see here in front of me. I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, what about 25? And honestly, no, I think if I were to value this myself, I would probably get right around 30 bucks. I think 25 would probably be a little bit lower than expected. 25 would be great. Hey, 20 would be great. Free would be the best of all. It's not going to happen. Realistically, I think the value here is pretty good. Would have been better if they had something nicer than AIM agents to include here, but they want to have conflict. They want to give us more of the Marvel Avengers video, 2020 or 21, whatever it's going to end up being, video game equivalents of stormtroopers. Thinking of it that way makes sense. Car is nice. These work just fine. Little accessories on the sides are nice. These figures are perfectly fine as they are. Pretty happy with this set overall. Although, again, of course, any modern, either MCU or close to MCU related, MCU derived, anything close to that, Iron Man would be better. The two-piece helmet, especially since they included a Tony Stark head in the set that works with the two-piece helmet if you flip it up. But I still think that these things look pretty good as they are. But then, what do I know? I'm not a super Marvel fan. If you want to see how this set went together, I didn't do a build for the little accessory pack, but if you want to see the build for this one, I've got it in real time and speed build versions. Check out one of those if you'd like to, and I'll talk to you again soon.